Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, fellow South Africans, this is a heartfelt message of concern as a fellow man in the country, observing what is happening right now. It is really something that is touching and moving, and it's something that is you don't even know where to start. You don't even know what to say. My brothers, gents, this is directed at you. Let's leave the ladies now. Let's leave them because they are at the receiving end. Let's leave them now because they are the victims. Let's leave them now because they are the ones who live in fear of not knowing what will happen, when and how. They live in fear of even being afraid of having a freedom of choice to choose the clothes that they wear, because they are afraid some of the clothes might look seductive to us. They now have to wear things that are accommodating us because they know that we are people who are vulnerable. We are people who are easily provoked and easily moved and tempted and all of those things. But I think it's deeper than just how they wear. It's deeper than anything they do or they don't do. The problem is with us. It is in us and with us in the sense that a 5-month-old baby that is raped has nothing to do with wearing seductive things. An 8-year-old gogo has nothing to do with how they wear and all of those. So it's really about the psychology of male species, of the male species. It's not about them and what they do or what they do not do. It's about us. When I say us, I include myself. I know, yes, I'm a born-again Christian. I'm a father, a faithful husband to my wife and loving her so much, and my children and all of those. And being a pastor also. But those credentials are not really things that make me to have ego and pride of admitting that we do that as men. Whether I might have raped or not is besides the point. Whether I might have laid hands and beat my wife or not is besides the point. Whether I might have molested my children or not, or other people's children or not, is besides the point. Now at this point in time, it's not about me. It's not about my self-righteousness, and it's not about me defending that, not all of us and all of those things that other people are saying. It's really not necessary now. I'm now standing on behalf of gender. I'm standing as a proxy for all other men. We had a gender-based violence service at our church, and my apostle requested me to be a speaker. I was privileged to have been a speaker in such a very dignified event, which had some dignitaries, which included Mr. Mbuyiseni Botha, which is a commissioner of gender related matters. I'm not sure of the exact name of the commission. And also the actor and gender activist, gender-based violence activist, who is Mr. Patrick Shy. So the background picture you see here is actually an event of that sort. I had just finished ministering there, and then before I handed over to them, I think it was Mbuyiseni who was going to take over and then give Rapet. Before I give them to do their part. I did my part, preach the word about women and about the role that they have and about the precious value that God gave us in them, and how they are not second-hand citizens but they are first-hand, and how they are not half image of God but they are full image, and all of the things that I spoke regarding to how patriarchy has played a role in our society, culture, patriarchy, influenced by culture and religion and all of those things, and how now, because we are in the New Testament covenant where we are not really living under such subjections. You remember in the Israelite culture, they would say Jesus performed a miracle and fed 5,000 men, excluding women and children. That's why even Paul would have verses where he would exclude men and seem like he's a tribalist in some cases, But he was addressing those things according to cultural dimensions, and he was wearing spectacles of culture, which are no longer applicable in the New Testament. Most things that were applicable then are no longer applicable now. I'm not saying you should disregard culture and all of those things, but however, some of the oppression that women are facing today are not justified at all. They are not relevant at all. Jesus died for them as well, so that they can partake in leadership, they can partake in exercising their purpose, their gift, and their spiritual, ministerial, and other kinds of gifts, even assuming leadership roles, and even having businesses of their own, and even pastoring churches for that matter. I know this is a debatable matter, and this is not about that now. Now it's about rebuking the demon that is finishing up our male species and making them to have a thought that is not wrong at all. I know most of us, we have an excuse about the fact that the devil made me do it. That is a questionable excuse, because the devil will not take your private part and insert it on another person, or even undress you. You are the one who's going to do it. Your mind is the one that will agree to whatever thoughts that come in your mind. And also, the other reality to face is that others would say, Mina, I grew up without a father, or Mina, I was abused, or I saw my father abusing others and all. But all of those things might be reasons that are followed up and used as justification. But the reality is that the end product, you choose to decide how you ought to be. You choose to decide how your future ought to be. Some of us, we grew up fatherless as well. It's not an excuse that you grew up without a father. There are many people who grew up without fathers, but yet they turned out to be the best fathers, the best leaders, the best husbands, the best mentors and role models ever. So it's really about the matter of choices and deciding that you will use your negative past for positive outcomes. So this is actually to say that, gents, when I was still in the world out there, living a life of girls and womanizing and all of those things that I used to do, which I'm not proud of now, at least when it comes to women, I had to use my mouth to talk and convince. I used my mouth to propose. And if they reject me, I accepted defeat. If they accept me, then it's okay. So if you're still in the game of playing with women and changing them and all, and you are not like me, who has decided now that I'm living for Christ, but the genuine and the list of the things to do, not that I'm endorsing that, is at least to speak with your mouth. Talk like an adult, like a reasonable person. If they reject you, accept the rejection. And the new trend now that is there is that you find out people are dating, they're in a relationship, and when the lady now wants out and the guy still wants in, the guy now will influence, pressurize, force, and manipulate the lady now, pushing for that the relationship continues against the lady's will. The lady has moved on and even found a new person, but the old ex now is still bitter, doesn't want to move on, still bitter, making all things terrible for the new relationship of an ex-girlfriend and a baby mama, killing her and killing him. Most of the killings are related to that, especially from the time of last year, around the time of Bokarabo and that girl UKZN and other issues. They were around the issue of boyfriend, jealous boyfriends. That's one of the dangerous cancers, where a boyfriend will be jealous and not want to let go when they dump him, or that the wife is too beautiful and all, and so he's thinking some zeros in his high head, thinking that someone is maybe cheating on his wife, or his girlfriend or his wife is cheating on him, even if there's no tangible proof, just because of his insecurities, because he knows himself he doesn't let beautiful women just pass without doing anything to them. So he thinks no girlfriend work is doing the same thing. So gents, this is really scary things. And on top of it, I'm even ashamed to call myself a pastor now, let alone a Christian or a pastor for that matter. Because where now church is supposed to be a place of safety, now girls are raped and abused and molested in churches. Yes, it's happening. The first time I heard of a rape incident within a church circle, it was 19 years or 20 years ago, and I was shocked because it was usually something that happens outside church. But that was the first time I heard it, and I heard it from a certain sister who was sharing and just confessing and offloading to me and the other brethren, telling us that she was raped and molested by a famous bishop, that when she reported, they covered up for the bishop, and then the bishop was just taken from that environment and transferred to another local church in another province, just so that he can dodge the bullet. And even recently, these things are happening. Many people, even on social media, are coming out saying that the pastor so-and-so did this to me. Pastor so-and-so. You see, even the realities of the Omotoso scandal and other issues. It's a lot of things like that. Pastors, leaders are sleeping with girls at church. Well, there's a difference between sleeping with a girl consensually, where you are sinning, yes, because you are cheating on your wife. Sleeping on them, you are agreeing. Not that it's also condonable and good to do that. But however, now there's another dimension where now it's not about the proposing or mutual relationship that you are doing as a cheating, as just being silly. It's now a different story where you are literally using your positional power of being a pastor and a leader now to call girls into your office, and you close the door and forcefully rape them, or you manipulate somehow the system, or others come to you crying vulnerable, needing counseling, and when they cry and you hug them, embrace them, and you take it further than just a hug and a fatherly embrace, you forcefully manipulate the situation and use their vulnerability and all of those things. That's not what we're talking about. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Though it is also condemned that pastors would still use their influence to propose girls in church, even for normal reasons, even if you agree and you are mutually sleeping with them, it's still not good. But now we are condemning the one of rape, the one of molestation, the one of you sleeping forcefully with a girl, knowing that you are famous. Even if they go report you, people are gonna side with you and defend you, because you are their papa, you are their apostle, you are their prophet, you are their favorite bishop, and all of those things. Guys, this is wrong. This is totally wrong. It can never be right. It can never be right. It's very wrong. We have daughters. I have daughters. God has blessed me with only daughters. So I can't really take this as something which is far-fetched from me, because it can happen to my daughters, to my sister, to my wife, and all of that. Not that, God forbid that it does, but I'm saying we are not immune, directly or indirectly affected by all these things. The fact that it's still happening to people who are far away, it doesn't make us to be excused and to be immune. That we cannot have a say. Now ladies are even crushing us now, because all we do in our posts now, we are even justifying ourselves, saying not so okay, not all of us, some of us, we don't do that. It's not the time to do that now. Now it's the time to condemn, to crush, and to fight against any form of abuse. Even small things, even if it has not arrived to bigger things like beating and all. Just small things in jail. There are many ways of abuse that we need to rebuke. We need to rebuke even the little things that may seem like they are minor abuse kinds. So we need to, if you have a friend that you know is an abuser, and you know it's his lifestyle, you're accepting that and you're covering up for him, you are as good as guilty by association. If you have a cousin, brother, a relative, or your spiritual leader, or whoever, your leader anywhere, and people who are close to you, they are doing this thing, you know, you have proof, you are aware, it's not rumors and accusations, but yet you are not doing anything to talk against it, or you are just shielding it, or pretending like you don't see or you don't know, you are as guilty. You are also an indirect rapist. You are also an indirect murderer. You are also an indirect wife basher or girlfriend basher. If you had to take initiatives to stop that, then maybe that person would have received their rehabilitation and being helped, or face the full might of the law. So gents, as much as this is long, but it's something that I had to do on behalf of all the male species, as I've been doing repentance prayers on behalf of all of us as males, like I always do, repenting for the nation and taking my office of priesthood, my office of being an intercessor on behalf of my family, myself, my family, my church, my country, my continent, and the whole world. So as I was praying and seeking God, it dawned to me that the male species, they are few in number. Male species, they are the ones who are perpetrating. Even now in our country now, there's this thing of xenophobic what? It's perpetuated by males. Even before, when it happened, this thing, males were in the forefront. Now even the one of killing women, males are in the forefront. Everything that's wrong, our males have to be in the forefront. Even in our churches, females are in high majority, males are very minor. Males are always behind these things. There's always that uncle that will be known for molesting children, but they will always get away with murder. You see, there will always be that teacher at school. I'm so shocked that after this thing, it happened. It's almost 20 or more people that have come out. Stories of people that have reached my eyes and my ears about people who were raped and molested, who have been hiding it and pretending like it never happened. As much as I've already been exposed to a lot of these cases, thinking that I've heard it all, but now the ones I'm hearing only within these 2 days, yesterday and today, over 20, speaking against gender-based violence. Women crying about all the pain that we've put them through. Gents, this has to stop. The wrath of the Lord is not going to be nice on us. You find many spaces now, already we are a minority, we are few. To make things worse now, most of us are in jail. On top of that now, we are doing these things. That's why even most accidents, most suicide cases and many things that are a calamity, that are negative, they happen to us as males, yet we are few. So let's check if it's not because maybe this seed. Pelatina, we are the ones who are carrying the seed. Women are recipients of the seed, so that the be fruitful and multiply verse may happen. Through us, we have the seed to continue. That's why even during the time of Jesus and the time of Moses' birth, the male seed was the one which was killed. Because the enemy knows that we have the seed to make things continue. We have the seed to make the human species to grow. And the leadership that the Lord has given us, the role that we were given to protect, to shield our women, our children, our elderly, it's given to us. Gents. Let's please try. Actually, this is not time to try anymore. It's time to do it. It's time to do it. Let's be vocal about this. People must know where we stand about this. Let's fight this thing in all ways and in all measures. Let's push those. Some of us who are privileged to be having platforms to preach, to speak, to have media opportunities and all. Let's find all possible opportunities to speak against this thing. Because tomorrow it will be your mother. Tomorrow it will be your wife, your sister, your daughter, and all of that. And you will feel the reality now. It will hit you for real, and the pain will be sour now. But now you're taking it light because it's happening far away from you. I cannot keep quiet while I see the generation of females living in fear. In the same generation that I was in. The 1976 generation of youth had a legacy that they fought against the issue of Africans as a medium, like the language barrier issues and limitations and educational limitations of the time. The 1960 generation of women who marched to the union buildings against past laws, that is their legacy. The 1962 Robben Islanders, Rivonia trialists, their legacy is that. That's what we remember them for. So what are we going to be remembered for in this generation? For being rapists? For being child molesters? For being female beaters, bashers, wife beaters? What are we going to be remembered for? What legacy are we leaving for the next generation? Are we going to transfer these things? Gents, let's stop this thing. Let's stop this thing. These women are crying before God. I'm not saying this as a threat now. We are living in the dispensation of grace, but even grace now should not be a license to sin or to continue with wrongdoing. These women are crying before God, and their cry is hitting heaven. And we don't want God to respond in a very bad way. Those who are doing good, keep up the good work. We are not saying that you are not there, but now we are not talking about you. Today is not your time. This season is not for you now to say you are doing, but I'm not doing that. It's not about that now. It's about us speaking against this in one voice, in one platform. Well, this voice note, this video, this recording may not go that far. because I'm not famous, I'm not a celebrity. How I wish that when I got those slots of speaking on radio and TV, I should have used some of the opportunities I got to speak against this when I was having millions of people listening to me. But now I might not really reach the intended target. It's okay. But the little that I'm doing now, I might not even trained to be famous. It's not about being famous. It's about saying that enough is enough. This has to stop. We can't transfer this legacy to our children and to our sons and to the next generation. This has to stop now, because what we do not deal with now, our children will have to deal with it in the next generation. May God help us all. May things come back to normal. South Africa is a place that was formed under the direction of God. This is a country of the Lord. We cannot really turn against God by the actions we make. Yes, we can talk about the laws we have created. We can talk about a lot of political debates around how the laws have, the democracy laws have also contributed at all. But now we can't always use that as an excuse. The little contributions we can make also try and improve our situation. Let's try, gents. Actually, let's try. Let's do this. We can do this. We can do this. Whatever devil has come inside your mind now to do anything wrong, remember that God is watching you, and may God help you to do the right thing.